Om Gom Ganapatye Namah. 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 Om. Om Shanti. 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 Hari Om. Namaste. Welcome to day one of Panchakarma. I am so excited to start this journey with you. And I don't know, there's something that feels really potent about starting today. I noticed that I already had a lot of emotions swirling about. I'm feeling a lot come up already, and we haven't even started. It's something about just making this affirmative step, taking this action to say, yes, I'm devoting the next 40 days to my vision, my healing, my growth. There's something very powerful about taking this action and making this statement right now. I feel like I'm also picking up a lot on your collective energy as well. I think those of you that are going through this Panchakarma experience, you're feeling this. You're feeling the magnitude of taking this kind of action in your life. Maybe, 3:33 on the clock when I said that. You got a lot of support coming in. There's a lot of spiritual support on offer. And when I say spiritual support, that's however you relate to spirit. You don't have to have any type of ideology in order to benefit from Panchakarma to work with these techniques. Okay, so this is your experience, and it's all about how you connect spiritually. I mean, in Ayurveda, it's all the same trip, really, anyway. It's just all one consciousness, it's all one energy, right? So, however you relate to that one energy is beautiful. But whatever your sources of spiritual connection are, whether that's your loved ones, the dear ones you hold close to you, your friends, your family, whether that is nature, whether that is God or goddess, however you relate to that, your higher self. 4:44 on the clock when I was going into that. So I do have to give a shout out to the angels. Some of you may really connect with that angelic energy. I know I do. Plays a big, big part in my life. There's also the sense that uh, I just heard that song, Send Me an Angel, Send Me an Angel, right now, right now. There's that sense of really seeking that spiritual support, that spiritual connection. Um, I'm getting that some of you may have really been struggling with your spiritual connection for a while now and really wanting to feel reconnected again. But here's such an important piece that people often miss with spiritual connection is when it comes to spiritual connection, you can't access it until you're connected with yourself. It's all the same trick. So if you're feeling disconnected from yourself, if you're not feeling rooted in your center, if you're feeling out of your element, thrown off your block, you're not going to feel connected spiritually. You have to be embodied, to really connect spiritually, to receive the guidance that you need. And so we're going to be diving into that this week. And I already feel it stirring. I already feel the energy moving. I haven't done a whole lot so far this morning. I mean, I opened up with my sun salutations. I went for a walk. I drank my lemon water. I worked with my Ayurvedic herbs and the different things that I'm looking to bring in over these next 40 days. So I've definitely started to get things moving, but I mean, we're just opening up here. I'm kind of surprised by how much came forward for me already. I did do a lot of journaling this morning. It's a practice I want to work with, kind of doing sort of a brain dump, first thing in the morning, just like letting all my thoughts, my opening thoughts for the day really tumble onto the page so I can see where I'm at. It's sort of a way for me to get a little weather report. I really do encourage you all to do that too. It's really helpful to keep a journal as you go through this kind of a process. It helps you see your growth. It helps you see the way you've moved through your journey. When you get to the end of it, it's really quite amazing to look back over your journal entries and just watch as the unfolding process took place. It's quite something to have to reflect on. And there's even something that I'm going to bring in to close out this communal panchakarma. So I really do encourage you to keep a journal, an active journal as you go through this experience, even if you just write down one sentence, maybe just something that kind of captures the theme of that day or captures the essence of how you felt that day in general, anything. But I really do encourage you to journal. It makes a big difference. And it will also help you get really in touch with what's happening. It'll help bring you into the present. I opened today with journaling. That's not something that I normally do. Just writing about how I felt physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I didn't expect to write so much. I had a lot I needed to write. And it was really kind of eye-opening for me. Made me realize I've been kind of on autopilot for a while now, just taking care of matters. And there's a lot that goes into that. And I'm sure you all have, your own stuff and you have a lot that goes into that too, but it was interesting to see it all laid out before me and go, oh, okay, I get why certain things are coming up for me now. I do feel right in harmony with this week. Two things that were front and center for me were, because I'm going to share my experience with you all authentically. I want you all to bring your voices in, share where you're at, what's coming up with you. And this is about us all moving through this experience transparently. It's such an important part of this healing process, this purification process. What I really noticed came up for me was this sense of, over the past few years, I've really had to be kind of like the glue that holds things together, and I've had to be strong. It's a theme in my life. And there were times when I needed to be able to be vulnerable and let out emotion and soften around all of that. But because of this sense of responsibility for keeping everything together, everything grounded, and also just practicalities, what was before me, what I had to achieve, I sort of held all of that back. And now there's like this wall that needs to be burst through. There's this dam in the way. And I need to get that all flowing. I just need to get the emotions flowing. The sense that I had this morning was I really need a good cry. And it's ironic because we got a lot of air conditioning in the house here. And it's been just drying out my eyes so much that when I wake up in the morning, it's almost painful because my eyelids are like sticking to my eyes. And I got all this like stuff in my tear ducts. It feels like sand, like just grit. And it's just from all the lymph is even dry, and I was thinking how, gosh, a good cry would feel so good because I can feel there's this pressurized stuff in there that needs to go. But I'm like, I ain't got no more tears. Like everything's so dried up. Let me know I'm also kind of depleted, dehydrated. So, getting a lot of water is something that's going to be important for me and is always a challenge. But also getting that lymph moving, which is what we're focusing on this week. What I realized was also there was not just this like sense of depletion, but also this kind of pressurized, that's that kind of dam energy. And it's anger, it's frustration, it's like all this fire that needs to move. Now, when I'm doing Panchakarma and I'm working with people, as I am with you all as a community, I pick up what's going on with the people I'm working with too. So as I speak of these things, and I'm speaking of what I woke up with in this morning, how I was feeling, it's also a reflection of what's going on in the collective. So I really picked this up, this sense of frustration, agitation. It's almost like this is what is acting as the wall. This, this kind of like this kind of contraction that's around frustration, irritation, and anger. There's a lot of anger there too that needs to be diffused, released. And we're going to get all of that moving. We're going to get all of that stirred up and moving this week. If I had like a visual of what this week's energy looks like, I've just seen like this bubbling cauldron, and there's all kinds of stuff in that cauldron, and it's all going to get all cooked up and get to the place where we can really digest it and absorb it easily, like kind of like when you make a stew. It's like this big collective healing stew that we're getting cooking right now. Okay. And we're getting everything sort of like really heated up. We're going to stir it up. We're stirring up this week. We're starting to just, get things warmed up, get things bubbling up so we can really like dive into it in the next 10-day cycle. Right now, we're getting things warmed up. We're getting things opening. We're getting things starting to bubble. Okay. It's all starting to come to the surface. Things bubble to the surface, right? But we're going to cook that shit down. We're going to cook it down so, we can really assimilate the nutrients, the nourishment, from everything that we get cooking this week. Okay. There's going to be a lot of unraveling, and it's a lot about starting to get in touch this week. You made your plans, but now it's like time to put those things into action and see how does it really manifest. For example, my plan is that I want to get back to the place I was in my yogic practice when I was 21, where I would work out with Brian Kess, power yoga, and I would do an hour in the morning and I would do an hour in the evening. I had a 2-hour-a-day yogic practice, and it was amazing. My body never felt better, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, everything just felt so harmonious. I felt happy all the time. It was just so amazing. And over the years, that practice, though I've always continued a yoga practice, it has never reached that same level of devotion I had to it when I was 21. And I'm really ready to get back to that level of a yoga practice. I'm also in the process of going through another yoga teacher training um, through a school in India. And I'm ready to really embody that. I'm ready to really embody it as part of my life practice, how I move through life. And I feel like 2 hours, a day is is a wise investment when it has that kind of a payoff where it allows me to be present and grounded and feel so much freedom in my body and just energy aligned and everything on point. I was just like, I have nothing but these like beautiful memories of that time in my life. And it had nothing to do with anything going on outside of me. In fact, at that time in my life, I was going through a lot of challenges. Life was really rough. I could have had a lot of reasons to complain, but I felt so damn happy. And it was because I had this devoted yoga practice. So that is my goal. That is the plan. Today, I dropped in and I was like, ooh, the body is stiff. The body has some sore points here. The back has some stuck points here. And that's all from, I've been doing a whole different kind of training. I've been doing the Chloe Ting challenge. I've been doing more intensive training. And it really just made me realize, like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to just dive into that where I was. That might be a lofty vision, but that's going to be more like that's the destination point. We can't start off there. We can't start off there. We got to meet our body where it's at. Okay. And so be mindful. You may have had some really lofty goals for yourself. You might be humbled as you start to put into practice the action steps you put together for moving forward in your Panchakarma. Just witness it. It's not about judging it, okay? It's just about witnessing it and understanding what it's telling you. So that being said, I opened my day with sun salutations, and I was like, oh yeah, I got some work to do. And I am going to do Brian Kess yoga DVD tonight. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I may have to stop a lot, I may have to hit my mat a lot. I might feel very challenged, but I'm going to stay present with it. And I'm going to show up. And eventually I will get to that place where I'm back to doing that level of yoga twice a day. And I'm really excited to kind of hold my feet to the fire. But number one thing I want you all to remember as you enter this experience and you notice ways that you're like, woo, I got a lot of work to do there, or wow, I got a lot of emotion coming up. I didn't anticipate this, or oh gosh, I didn't realize how challenging it would be just to even show up, and be imperfect and not have my shit together and feel like I'm so far behind and I got so much that I need to achieve and I'm so not there. The most important thing is that you show up. That you show up. Okay? That is the most important thing, that you show up every single day over these next 40 days. I don't care if it's a sloppy hot mess of a day. If you show up that day, that's beautiful. And it's really what it takes, is that consistency to show up, and especially when it's uncomfortable, and especially when it doesn't look the way you want it to look, and especially when you feel like shit. That is when it is most important to show up. And there are going to be days through this process, you're going to feel like that. You're going to feel like that. So respect where you're at and know that it's okay. This is not where you're always going to be. If you find that where you're at is challenging for you right now, it's not where you're always going to be. Okay? So don't be hard on yourself. Have some compassion for yourself. And maybe consider, journaling a little bit, writing it out so you can get an objective view, an outside view of your internal process. And do leave comments, do share your experience. And I promise to be transparent and share with you all too. So it's going to be really, really cool adventure for all of us. And it's going to be about having a real experience in virtual reality. And it absolutely is possible. I know it's possible. I know because I had a community, an online community called Through Thick and Thin many years ago. And we held a respectful space online on a very active forum that I built. And we had some really, really potent healing experiences with each other. And we held our community in a very respectful way. And it is possible. And I feel there's like been so much that's come up around the throat chakra. I'm picking it front and center for this Panchakarma. I think we're all collectively doing this work, that it's really about us being mindful of how are we using our voices in the world. And the thing about the throat chakra, Vishuddha, is it's not just about the voice and how you use your voice. It is also your purpose. Your purpose. Okay. So just hold space for that piece. Using your voice, connecting your purpose is how you use your voice in alignment with your purpose. Okay, these themes are coming up. And remember how we opened up, hold your tongue. Hold your tongue. There's this piece of listening more. This piece of listening more. So journaling, can be very effective, rather than automatically like blurting out, blurting out to anybody who will, take a minute to like take in what you have to say, rather than blurting out all that pressurized stuff, that's been inside of you. Try, pouring it out on the paper and just getting an objective look at it. It's very eye-opening. Very eye-opening. I strongly encourage this, okay? I also want to teach you, before I pull some cards here, because I do want to do a little reading for us just to set the tone for the next 10 days. I want to teach you a method for how you can hold space for yourself when you feel activated, because there will be times that as we get things moving here, you're going to feel activated. I also will share a very simple thing you can do to start to get your lymph flowing. All right, we want to get these things moving today. So I'm going to kind of give some action points at the tail end of this live here. Okay, but first I want to begin by leading you through the emotional release technique. I feel like this is an important part, because I already feel like so much has just been stirred within me. And I know I'm picking up on the collective energy here. Okay. So why don't we do that now? Why don't we do that now? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just drop in with me for a moment. Okay. And close your eyes, turn your attention inward. Go ahead and place your left hand on your heart and put your right hand on your tummy, right over your belly button. And just take in a nice deep breath, inhaling all the way down to your root, feeling your whole pelvic region fill with that prana as your belly rises, taking in the nourishment of that oxygen, and then exhale, just like a wave, follow the breath as it comes back up. and out through your nose. Focus on breathing through your nose. Now inhale again and breathe all the way down to your root and feel the pelvis fill with air and feel the tummy rise, and then carry that oxygen up to the place where your ribs meet in the front at your solar plexus. And as you breathe into this space, envision your ribs opening up to the sides and just feel that expansion, and then exhale and breathe out, following the pathway all the way up through the nose. And one more nice big inhale all the way down to the root. Feel the expansion in the pelvis, the lower belly rise up to the solar plexus, the ribs expanding out toward the sides, all the way up to the heart center, Anahata. And as you breathe into your heart, feel your collarbones gently spread open. And then exhale down into the solar plexus, down into your root, and back up through the nose. And exhale fully. That is a Durga pranayama, or 3-part yogic breath. And just this simple breath, just simple breathing like this, following that pattern all the way from root to heart to back again. It starts to form this like wave-like motion. It's this beautiful, effortless ebb and flow of that prana. You can come back to this breath at any time. Even this is a very simple pranayama you can begin with. You may think, oh, that just seems so simple, but it's actually very powerful. We don't breathe like this in general. We take our breath for granted. And prana is so important. It's our life force energy. Magic happens inside of your body when your tissues are oxygenated, okay? So it's a basic fundamental first step. Get in touch with this breathing, okay? So just continue to breathe like this as I guide you through the next steps. We're going to get somewhat of an internal weather check-in, just see what we're feeling today. So in order to do that, I want you to just keep doing that deep breathing, that deep yogic breathing, and I want you to sink into your body and just notice where you have any kind of sensation of pain or contraction, tightness, holding, anything of this nature. Just pick one spot to begin with. You might have more than one spot. Let's just begin one for the sake of teaching you this technique, okay? And when you feel where that area of tightness or holding, contraction is in your body, pain, when you breathe in that prana, that air, that oxygen, breathe it right into that spot. Imagine your breath traveling right down to that spot where you feel that holding. Now keep breathing into this spot. Nice, deep, full breaths right into this spot where you feel this tightness. And we're going to start to build an image around this area of holding in the body. So I want you to consider, does this area of holding in your body have a color? Does this area of holding in your body have a sound? Does this area of holding in your body have a texture? Does this area of holding have a scent? Does this area of holding have a taste? Do you have an image, a symbol that comes to your mind that incorporates all those qualities? Leave your mind open and let this vision form something that symbolizes all these qualities. Don't judge what you see. Just allow whatever wants to come forward, come forward. I'll give an example with what I see so you can understand how this image builds. The sound I heard was like the whistle of a tea kettle. The color I saw was red. The taste was sulfuric. The texture was sticky. See if you can get a temperature as well. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it neutral? I have hot. And the image I see in my mind's eye is bubbling lava. And as it's bubbling, there's like gases rising from it. And it's like coming to this like rolling, frothing boil, but it's coming from very deep within. So that kind of brings together all those qualities. Let your own image build. And when you have your image firmly in mind, start breathing into that image and allow the prana to slowly dissolve the image. Just breathe deeply into this space. As you watch that image that you created in your mind's eye start to soften, start to dissipate. Just watch it slowly dissolve, much as an ice cube would dissolve if put to a flame. Watch this image slowly disintegrate as you continue to breathe into it until it disappears. Now, you will likely notice once this image disappears that there's a different sensation there. It's not a sensation of tightness. It's not a sensation of holding. Everything in Panchakarma happens for a reason. Ted, thank you. You might have some tense stuff coming up with that reaction from Ted. Ted. Shh. Thank you. Shh. You might feel activation. Maybe you're coming up with some pretty intense reactions. You might have a need to vocalize what you're feeling, okay? You might notice some shaking in your body. Whatever is surfacing, whatever you're feeling, just allow it to flow through your body. Don't get into a story about it. You don't need to figure out why it's there, what it means. There's no need to attach any experience to it. Just simply breathe. Keep breathing into the sensation. And if you need to release it, if you need to howl, if you need to cry, if you need to yell, just go ahead and let whatever needs to come out, come out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, look around the room. My apologies for Ted's interruption. There was a doorbell that went off and he went into very vigilant mode. So I don't ever feel there's anything accidental that ever comes through. There certainly is never anything that comes up in Panchakarma accidentally. And I feel this is really speaking to there's something at your door and you know it. There's something at your door. There's something that you need to look at. You might have some fear around this. You might have some resistance around this. You might feel like you need to protect yourself from the energy that's coming up in you. It's so important, though, to know that it is this very thing that's knocking at your door, that is ringing your bell. It is to give you a gift of healing. Notice how quiet he is now. It may have shocked you. It took me by surprise when he started barking like that. But I feel like this is the message that needs to come through. And this technique of sinking into how the body is feeling, building an image where there is contraction. Ted. Ted. Shush. Through engaging all of the senses, really letting this image build. This is so essential. This is so essential for creating that safe space around what you're feeling. There's no way to get into the story when you are approaching it in this way. In order to heal, it's not essential to attach what you're feeling to a story. It's only essential for you to be feeling it, for you to be feeling it, because this is what pain wants. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants to be expressed. It wants to be able to come up and out. It does not want to be held in. And I feel like you've held this in behind a door for so long. And you're taking this opportunity now to open up that door. And as you do, it might feel a little scary. It might feel a little overwhelming to confront what's there. When this comes in, when there's reactiveness, right? Ted reacted, okay? So when there's reactiveness, when you notice that activation in yourself as the feelings surface, the goal is not to take that for a ride. Like the bus can pull up to the station, but that doesn't mean you have to hop on it and go for a ride. And the bus, in this case, being the story, getting in that loop of the story of what is happening and why. And instead, it's about really just sinking in to the experience of it and letting whatever wants to come out, however it wants to come out, even if you feel silly at the time, let it surface. And this is how we start to move the energy. Move the energy. All right. That was intense. Ooh, what a way to open. What a way to open. So I do want to say first things first. It's going to be very important this week to move the lymph. With that kind of blockage coming up and the emotions held back and the activation there's definitely a need to break up the dams in the river and get that lymphatic flow going. So the first thing that I want you to do this week, Ted, hey, Ted, thank you, and it's time to be quiet, okay? Thank you. The first thing that I want you to do is give yourself a salt scrub. At least 3 times this week. You could do it every other day if you wanted to, and that would really start to get your lymph moving. But at least 3 times this week, do a salt scrub. And as you do the salt scrub, I want you to let those emotions bubble up. I want you to think of the things that you need to release, the things you're ready to shed, the things you're ready to slough off, let go, like a snake shedding its skin, the things that are ready for transformation, and just focus on that as you cover your entire body from the neck down. You want to do this on dry skin. Doesn't matter what kind of oil you use. You could even use coconut oil if you wanted to, mixed with sea salt. Use a good quality sea salt. If you want to add a few drops of essential oil, you can. Rosemary is really good for lymphatic stimulation, as is grapefruit oil. And Pomarosa is wonderful for that too. Orange, particularly blood orange, is nice and kind of nurturing as well. You can put just a few drops of essential oil in. You don't have to, though. It's not necessary, but it can make it a little more lovely, right? But you just rub down on dry skin. You want to go back and forth strokes, over the limbs, circular around your joints, okay? Clockwise motion on the tummy. Again, circles on the hips, circles on the glutes, and back and forth down the sides. Same thing with the legs and limbs, back and forth all the way down the legs, circular around the knees, circular around the ankles, and finish off. Get the feet, get on the bottoms of the feet. It's very purifying. It's going to get your lymphatic system flowing, okay? 3 times this week. You're also going to want to make sure that on Sunday, you're doing a full day of self-care. If you want to have a movable day, you can have a movable day. Sunday is kind of a nice day. It tends to be a lazy day for most people. It would be kind of cool if we were all kind of doing that as a group on the same day. That being said, if you have to move it some weeks, that's okay too. But I'm just going to call it Self-Care Sunday to keep it nice and easy. Make sure you're giving yourself a self-care Sunday, even if you do your self-care Sunday on Wednesday. And on that day, you're really going to be all about your self-care, your nurturing, your nourishing, your relaxation, giving yourself body treatments, really showing up to give yourself that pampering, that TLC, that care, all right? So that's kind of the first physical work that we'll be doing this week. It's so important we start to get the lymphatic system flowing, get the lymphatic system moving. All right, we'll build on this every day. There'll be something else I add in for you for that 10-day period. Okay, so this is the first thing we got coming in for this week. And I think that is a really good place to start, is just really keep it that simple, for today. I don't want to overwhelm. So yeah, maybe even experiment with doing that breath work too throughout this week, just to land, get in the body, and then notice where you have any holding patterns. Really, I'm still kind of tripping on the way Ted reacted at that particular moment. It's like, oh my gosh, like what is going to come up here? I have felt like a lot of intensity though, so I do feel that we're going to get some things moving this week. If you do notice you're feeling really activated or something's coming up for you and you want to bring it in, drop a comment, and I'll be happy to offer some support. And we can all come together as a community around this. I do want to just pull some cards and see any other messages that we have for today as we're getting started here. Off with a bang, man. Okay, let's see. What guidance do those going through Panchakarma need to receive today? What guidance do those going through Panchakarma need to receive today? All right, I've got 2 cards, all right? So it's wild because we had the Ace of Wands coming up as a crossing influence. And that is covering this 2 of Pentacles. So I feel this is all about finding your balance within this taking action, okay? Because the Ace of Wands is you're starting something new, right? You're taking up a new action, and this action is Panchakarma. Panchakarma is the 5 actions of purification. We're beginning here first with really just dropping in, getting to see where the body is at, what the body is needing, where we're at emotionally, what we're feeling, without putting any labels on it, just allowing the sensations, the sensations to surface. And think of it more as like a scientist would, collecting data, more with this kind of spirit of, isn't that interesting? I felt really emotional. I actually started crying when I was breathing into where I held that tension, or when I heard Ted bark, that really shook me. I noticed I felt a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety came up in my body. Whatever is there, just noticing. And if you want to put it in your journal, put it in your journal, whatever you discover with this. But this is about kind of just dropping in, noticing what you're feeling, noticing where you're at emotionally, noticing how you're feeling challenged spiritually, what's coming up for you on your spiritual path, what kind of themes are there, what kind of lessons are there. And also let it be okay that you're at the beginning stage with this Page of Pentacles. You may feel like, gosh, I can't believe I got this much work to do, or how did I end up in the same place I was 10 years ago? You might feel a little frustrated. You might feel like you wish you were further along than you are, but this is going to be a messy process at times. It's okay to be a beginner and always have that kind of beginner's mind, beginner's spirit as you move through this Panchakarma. All right. There's beautiful energy on offer here with the Lovers. And in terms of Panchakarma, what I'm really seeing this as this is like an invitation coming forward from grace, from your spirit, from your soul's essence, to come to that place of union within the self, that place of wholeness. It's like the merging of the Shiva, the Shakti within the Ida, the Pingala. It's this beautiful opportunity for alchemy and unification. So there's so much that's going to come through this process. But first, you got to get through that wall, right? With this Nine of Wands, there's a wall that's kind of damming everything up. And that's why we have to start getting the lymphatic system flowing this week. See if you can notice when you're moving into those patterns of contraction, when the emotion comes up, when you notice the feeling come up, when you do that pranayama with that visualization exercise, notice when your body wants to move into contraction, when you want to curl up, when you want to cover your heart, and instead just gently remind yourself, maybe with that one hand resting on your heart, just pat and say, it's okay to open to this. Give your heart some rubs, let yourself soften a bit. Remember to roll those shoulders back, stay open to the experience. And that's what's going to allow everything to flow on through. Yeah, we're going to do a lot of beautiful work this week with the Eight of Pentacles, and it promises to be extremely rewarding. Look at this, moves into the Queen of Pentacles energy. Okay, this is all about really rooting this work. By the time you're done with this 40-day journey, it's not just something you're going to feel shift inside. It will be manifest in the world all around you. And that vision that you're looking to call in, you'll also see it take root. But here's the thing. This is the thing that's so beautiful about Panchakarma. You always start out the journey with a certain focus, and then it takes you for a ride. And where you end up is exactly where you need to be. But often it's like unlike anything you expected. Okay, so again, there's this piece that's really coming in today about stay open to the experience, stay open, hold your vision. But with any vision, right, you pull back that quiver and you got to release it. You got to release it so the arrow can hit its mark. That how it hits the mark and what the target actually ends up being may surprise you. So just be open to the ways that transformation is going to take root in your life as you go through this experience. It's quite a powerful journey ahead. Yeah, there really is this need, to allow yourself to have this experience. Create this space for yourself with the Seven of Wands. Don't let yourself be taken in by distractions or the demands of others. You may notice that come up first, especially as you're so actively always taking care of everybody else. You may notice other people wanting to pull on your time and energy as you carve out this space for yourself. So the need to have good boundaries. Make this time to nurture yourself, give to yourself a non-negotiable priority, okay? So essential. And a cut of the deck energy here. Queen of Swords, okay? So we know that cord cutting is going to come up this week. We will be going over that. It's time to cut off what keeps us from that place of fulfillment, that keeps us from being rooted in that place of happiness, joy, sweetness, the cups overflowing with the 10 of cups here. And it was 55:44 on the clock when I said that. That is all about the new beginning comes through the ending, and what appears as the hand of fate, but we're in the process of transforming it into destiny with the work we're doing here. So stay tuned. Drop in today, away from the distraction of Ted, okay? Drop in today and just notice how you are feeling. Maybe journal about it a bit. Write down how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So you just have something to see at the end of your journey so you can witness your growth in action. And maybe prepare up a body scrub, salt scrub, or, go to the store, get what you need to do a salt scrub 3 times this week, okay? But if you're able to do it today, do it today. And we'll drop in tomorrow for another piece to come in. Really beautiful opportunity on offer. I think we're really going to get the emotions flowing this week. And what it brings forward is going to free up so much space for us actually to start bringing in, calling in what will truly fulfill us. Have a beautiful